believe it is 6 o'clock. It is 6 o'clock on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Payson City Council, I'd like to welcome everyone out today. Appreciate you being here. Would like to start this meeting with prayer. Kirk Beecher will open this meeting with prayer for us.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this day, for the opportunity we have to be here in Payson City Council meeting. We're thankful for all of our blessings, for the many things we enjoy, for the great city we have to live in, and for the many things that it affords us to be here in Payson. We ask thee this evening that thy Spirit will be with us, that he'll bless us to listen and to participate in an orderly manner. Bless those council members that are here, that they will have thy Spirit with them, that they'll be able to discuss and act on items that will be best for the majority of the citizens here in Payson, and help us all to do those things that are pleasing unto thee. And this we say in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Kirk. Dave Tucker will lead us in the pledge.
Everybody stand. Repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, we'll move on to see the consent agenda. Number one, approval of the August 6th, 2025 special city council minutes. Number two, approval of the August 6th, 2025 regular city council minutes. And number two, confirmation of the monthly financial information. And number four, resolution, the Utah County interlocal agreement regarding communities that care, substance misuse prevention. And number five, resolution amended consultation agreement with the Legislative Executive Consulting LLC. Council, unless there's any discussion on those items on the consent, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to ask staff if they could render some clarification on line item 5. What are we amending in that? I looked through the packet and it wasn't clear to me.
Yeah.
We're amending his consulting contract. He got us $3 more million for the downtown for next year, and so we wanted that reworked.
So just amending the contract, the pay,
The amount and the pay for
the $3 million.
securing that money.
okay.
Any other discussion, council? Okay, if there's not any other questions or conversation, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote, starting with Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
I did want to make a comment on resolution 5. I just didn't want it to impact the vote.
Okay.
I honestly feel that that was a very good investment for us as a city. We've invested with this legislative executive consulting, and I don't know, pushing $500 million worth of funding headed down this way because we had the right people in the right places talking to the right people.
Yeah. So
I don't think that's a great way to run politics, but it's good that we took advantage of it. So
yeah, help us finish Main Street from 500 to 700 South Main.
yeah, and plus he was there for the
Yep.
Nebo Beltway
Yep.
and for the downtown repairs and changes, and it's been a real benefit. Well worth our money.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, petitions. The number one, Chamber Service, Community Service Award is Diane. Oh, there you are, Diane.
All right, Ingrid, will you come up? I want everybody to be able to look at you while I read about you. So you can turn around and look at them. Okay, we're really happy and thrilled to celebrate Ingrid Bowles'
She's the founder of the South Canyon Choir and Orchestra. She is the recipient of the Payson Santaquin Chamber of Commerce Community Service Award for the month of July. Ingrid's leadership, dedicated work ethic, and ability to magnify the talents of our community make her fully deserving of this honor. This year's sold-out Easter performances of Lamb of God at Payson High School were the result of her boundless passion and hundreds of hours poured into every detail. That was obvious. From learning to conduct a 40-plus piece orchestra, to recruiting 100% volunteer musicians, to guiding and inspiring more than 100 local performers. That's a lot of work. Ingrid's vision and courage transformed a dream into a breathtaking reality. She believes in our community's talent and generosity, and her faith brought together people from all walks of life to create something truly transcendent. Through her leadership, music became more than just notes on a page. It became a force for unity, joy, and gratitude. Her story inspires us all, from teaching at Payson Junior High and developing an amazing choir program over 24 years, mentoring generations of students, to founding the South Canyons Choir and Orchestra, and launching what is now a beloved local tradition. Ingrid, thank you for your devotion, your heart, and your example. You remind us that when we work hard for something we love, we call it passion. And that passion has brought beauty and hope to Payson and Santaquin. Congratulations, Ingrid. And we can't wait to see what you just do next, because obviously you're a doer. So here's the Community Service Award for you. Would you like to say a little something?
Just a quick comment on the name of our organization, South Canyons Chorus and Orchestra. We named it after Payson Canyon and Santaquin Canyon. We just thought that would be good for our community. So I just wanted you to know that, and just say thank you to our community. Thank you to everyone that participated. It's certainly not something I did by myself. And I just appreciate everyone. And we're going to continue this tradition and hopefully add some more things to our roster also.
Ingrid,
So,
thank you. Thank you
thank you.
so very much.
I can't think of a more deserving recipient of
Oh.
such an award. I have to admit, Mrs. Bolts was my junior high choir teacher. And really, one of the more memorable classes I had. A tender, loving teacher that took time for each of us individually. I still remember you and Mrs. Lindsay on the piano. I still remember some of the songs that we sang. And so just, you really are a pillar of this community. You've given a lot to education, myself included. So really, thank you.
You
Mrs.
are
Bolts.
so welcome, and it's been a joy. That's all I can say. A total joy to do all of this. So thank
Wonderful. Would like to get a picture with you if you would.
you. Okay. Ryan was one of my better students.
I hope so. I was waiting for this. You must have had a whole bunch of bad ones then.
Okay, moving on.
And I also got a comment. This guy was one of my teachers at one time too. TLC teacher.
That
And
makes
he
you
was an
feel old.
excellent student. He really was.
Okay, we're moving on to number 2. You, update on I-15 interchange. Eric's not here that I see. Is there someone here for Eric?
Ryan, do you want to give that? Okay. It's Ryan.
I didn't catch that. What's that?
He's hopping on the Zoom meeting.
Oh,
Just give
okay.
him a minute.
Well, we'll be patient then and wait for him to address us.
Perhaps we could alter the.
You want to, is it going to be what, how long is it going to be before he gets on?
You want to go to
To-
you want to go to Utopia?
Yeah, if council's okay if we adjust the minutes, I mean, the agenda?
I'm okay with that. If
Yes.
he wants a minute.
Yes.
Okay,
And
We'll go ahead.
Mayor, we have, it's Roger Timmerman, it's not Nicole.
Okay, Roger.
Has Nicole on the agenda.
We got the bigwigs around here.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say Nicole, I was gonna say Roger. Thank you, Roger. Come on up.
You got the downgrade, unfortunately.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Roger Timmerman from Utopia. He's gonna give us some information on Utopia and Payson City.
The best way for me to share is probably over Zoom, right? If you're doing the broadcast, where do I find that link? Is it on your website? Where?
It's not ready either.
Oh, it's right there. It was like it said it was on the website, and I'm like staring at it. Sorry.
At least you're not in the tech industry
Yeah.
or communications.
All right, I think this is probably gonna work.
Bought my first wall mount TV stand.
I got him.
25 years ago.
And that's not the right presentation, but it is working. So
No, give us the Brigham City one.
wanna-
We'll
you wanna
compare
hear about
notes.
Brigham
That's
City?
Okay.
they're tomorrow night. So all right. It's fun trying to read it in the little menu. There we go. That looks better. Well, thanks for giving us a little time to give you an update. See if this is still going to work through there. There we go. Well, I recognize you guys. I hope you recognize me. It hasn't been that
Yes.
long, right?
No, it hasn't been that long.
Maybe a year. We like to get out about once a year. Just kind of let you know how things are going and get any feedback from you. Just a little history for anyone who's here or newer. Utopia was this thing created many years ago. It's actually created in 2002. But we got going in 2004. That's when cities were on the hook financially. We bonded, built some network. And you guys are one of those founding member cities of Utopia. It didn't go so well in early years, but we figured it out. And meanwhile, demand increased. Timeline wise, we kind of do this. We're like, yeah, it was a little rough there, 2004, 2009. But then we made a lot of changes. The contractors and partners kind of got fired, and we insourced things at Utopia. So Utopia really as an organization was created around that time, where we said, we're going to take matters into our own hands, working with the cities to figure this thing out, decide whether we still believe the demand was there, if this could be successful. And UIA was created to finance growth of the city networks. And we did that, and it worked really, really well. We got the cities built out. Payson had a little bit of a special arrangement in there where he said, hey, we want to be top of the list at a time, right? And it was like, well, we need a little bit of extra commitment from the city to make that happen. He made that commitment. We finished the city. So this kind of the second half of the city was built using that commitment. And the last time I was here presenting, we were reporting back, not only have we hit the revenue and customer targets we needed to cover that, but and then some. We had plenty of buffer there. So we were able to get the city built out. Since then, we've added a lot of city partnerships. Going back to that previous slide, sorry, I got a pop up here. It's not letting me advance my slides. There we go. And then since then, we've added a lot of partnerships. So your neighbors over in Woodland Hills, they got their city network built out, but we've done stuff in Idaho, Montana, lots of other partnerships here in Utah. That's gone very well. So just a couple things I want to bring attention to here. Utopia, we are the largest open access network in the country, and you guys are one of the founding owning members of this system. We have actually over 250,000 locations now that are available with 23 citywide projects. We have the fastest speeds in the country. We have 10 gig residential internet and 100 gig for business, which actually are doing 400 gig now with the University of Utah. And you could do 100 gig to a home if you really wanted it, if you want to pay for it. But generally, we just offer gig, 2.5 gig, and 10 gig. We do still have 250 meg out there, but most people are picking gigabit. And we see a lot of people picking 2.5 gig. It's the most competitive open access system in the network, so this always changes a little bit. We keep getting more providers on board. It's a little relevant here because you have a local one that came in, well, maybe a couple, depending on the timing. I'm trying to think of who was here last time I met with you. IntelliPop is relatively new on the network, but they were local. And they were a wireless provider. And so they finally gave in and said, you know what, we'll be better. And, if we just join and rather than fight this. And they have been able to dramatically grow their business because not only could they provide services here, but they have been able to go across other cities and become a pretty large provider on Utopia. And they're based right here in Payson. Although they may have moved their office. They have been based in, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where they are, but they historically have been in Payson. Anyways, we're up to 19 providers. So when we say most competitive, you have more options here for broadband than anywhere else in the country. So usually you have a cable option and maybe a DSL or another fiber provider if you're lucky. With us, you have those guys plus 19 options that run across the Utopia network. So you've got a lot of choice and competition. We're number one over the last number of years from the Utah Education Network. And what I mean by that is every year they bid out schools and all sorts of educational institutions, even many that aren't even schools, that we win the business for. Now, we love it because it's revenue, but we only win it if we're the best price. So by being here, we're saving the school system a lot of money. And so it's mutually beneficial. We love that. We provide more air quality sensors in the state than anyone else. Whenever we deploy a cabinet or a hut, we would just put one in. So if you were to go to like the KSL weather app and look for air quality or any of the other things out there, you'll notice you got a whole bunch of sensors in Payson. And generally those are because we install them and the data ties into these other systems where they share it. So it doesn't say Utopia on it necessarily, but that data comes from us. In fact, you can kind of tell where the Utopia cities are by where the air quality sensors are because we put them in all of our cities. We do lots of cool smart city solutions. I want to show you a little bit of that in just a minute. We won't keep this too long, but and then we have Net Promoter Scores, a customer service satisfaction score. We do really, really well. People love it. Do really well with Google ratings, 4.6 stars. We want to bump that up, but that's really good for broadband and even better than Google Fiber. Just got to get that dig in there. There we go. And so this example, we build the fiber and own that, and then all these different options are on the system. So you have those are always changing, and we get more and more. Most of those are Utah-based companies, so not only are we getting nice local options, but we're in that money's staying local and being reinvested in the community. Our network architecture is better, and this has changed, right? Since we started this, we used to, when Utopia launched, it's hard to believe, but we had 10 megabit service. And that was considered fast. And so the network has been upgraded several times. We're on the third or fourth generation of the technology, depending which part you're looking at. And now when we install someone, they get a 10 gig connection, no matter what they've signed up for. So we rate limit it so that service providers can have different pricing and all of that. But you have a very future-proof system that could be, if somebody signs up and says, hey, I want to upgrade to 2.5 gig or 10 gig, any new device that's been put in, it's already capable of 10 gig, and all the hut and backbone and everything is upgraded with hundreds of gigs to support that. And if you've been on the system for a while, you may only have a 1 gig capable device in your house, but if you upgrade, we come in and install a 10 gig device. So the system is very future proof, and we've been keeping up on that. It is superior to any other fiber network out there. A lot of them use shared systems, and so this kind of demonstrates the difference where you have like time slotting and sharing on other systems. That would include like Google Fiber or Quantum Fiber or any of the others. On our network, you have your own dedicated connection. So your neighbor could be a total bandwidth hog. They could be downloading or gaming or whatever, and that doesn't affect your connection. You get the full speed all the time of what you signed up for. Okay, this is a new slide. We wanted to showcase this a little bit. There was a study done on a similar network to ours. It's the EPB, which is the city of Chattanooga. And they did a municipal fiber network, and they went in and had a local university there, I can't remember which one it was, did a study looking at all the ways that the system benefits the community. And some of them are really easy to calculate. So we said, okay, well, we can look at what
Xfinity has and what their pricing is for similar product and what their most popular offering is. And we can see very quickly that we're $29 cheaper. So for those who've signed up, we've got 2,853 residential subscribers in the city. $29 a month comes out to $348 a year. We're saving the residents, compared to if they had the Comcast service that was equivalent, or not even equivalent. It's not as reliable. The upload stinks, but let's just say it was equivalent though. We'd be saving the residents almost $1 million a year, $992,000. The businesses we assume are coming in at about $50 a month savings, and that'd be another $103,000 a year in savings. So there's just a lot of money being put back into the pockets of the residents and businesses in the city, not to mention they're getting a far superior service. The Chattanooga study went in way deeper than that. It said, what types of investments, what kind of economic development happens, what are all these things that we can identify that come as a result of investing in this type of broadband in a city, and then take that over a 10-year period. And when we take that study and say these are the categories that would apply to Payson and size it to Payson, it would come out to be a $168 million economic benefit over a period of 10 years. And even if that's like rounding way up, you'd be like, maybe if it were half that, that's still enormous, right? So it's pretty cool looking at those types of benefits. Here's some data on the system generally. We are up over about 77,000 subscribers now across all of our cities. This is on a city by city basis here. Payson is, it's lower on the end just because you're one of the smaller cities though. So it's a little harder to see here. So I'll give you the Payson specific. So this shows you the timeline of how customers have come on the system. You obviously see when we did that second phase build out there in kind of 2020, where it really ramped up at that point, because then the whole city could get the service. But we haven't stopped, right? Like it was all built out in about 2020, 2021, and people are signing up. It's becoming increasingly popular. Just at the bottom there, you see we're over the last 6 months, we still are adding about 13 subscribers every month.
Jill, how many houses do we have? Are we,
I'm gonna get wrong. Have about 5,000. We have about 7,000 connections.
And then
so
we take like the apartments and things like that, and those fall into our business category. So those are there. Well, actually, this is total, but we have like one business connection
Yeah.
that then they distribute out to 100 units or something.
I knew we were at about the 5,000, 5,500 mark. I was a little surprised when you started at 7, but that looks to me like even if you go the 7 with all of our businesses or whatever, other services, we're pushing 50%. I think that's excellent.
Yeah, it's a
And-
very strong take
And
rate.
it was well worth our investment.
It's very interesting to see this. When I was campaigning to become mayor in 2017 and then became mayor in 2018, there was a lot of people that wanted fiber. So about that, I visited with Dave, our city manager, and said, hey, I think it's a time we need to re-engage with Utopia. And so we were engaged with you, Roger, and we found out you were about ready to re-engage with us as well. So it's really worked out well for us.
Yeah, it's mutually beneficial. We're real happy we were able to get it done. And, say there was that obligation, basically, we would issue a bond to pay for the second half of the city to be built. And if we got enough customers pay for it, we were good and there was no cost to the city. But if we didn't, the city would have to loan us the shortfall and we'd pay you back someday, hopefully. Well, we haven't had to call on that. There's enough customers, it's paying for itself. Now, there's been a cost to the city on the old bonds, 2004, and that money was spent a long time ago. But that is what it is.
Yep.
I would still argue well worth it, because none of this other stuff could have ever
Would've happened.
happened had we not made the investment in the initial system, and the benefits still far outweigh that. We don't build roads to make money on roads. We don't build, there's a lot of things that we invest in our communities that don't necessarily pay for themselves, but we are actually saving the residents a lot of money with this, even though there has been an expense. So
Yeah, the estimates were right and then some.
Yeah, I think when I did do the presentation a year ago, we were at about 1.5 times the number of customers we needed to cover that new obligation. And we've continued to grow, right? Another year on there. It hasn't been dramatic growth, but it's been good, solid growth.
Yep.
And so it was a great decision. We don't like to see them go badly, but and then they haven't for a long time. And but we appreciate you. There was still a lot of trust in us to make sure that the project went well, and it did, and we're very happy with it. This map I show, usually you're like, well, you shouldn't really show all your customers on a map. And I'm like, well, pretty much there's customers everywhere in the city. If you've got homes and businesses, we have customers, and we have a lot of them. And so it doesn't really matter. You just assume that most people in the city have the service. And so this kind of just shows where they're at. Blue dots are business customers. You can kind of see where the businesses are compared to residential. Some of the residential units that are by an aggregate, like I mentioned, come across as a business connection, but that's where a service provider takes that business connection and distributes it. So some of the apartments and things like that show up blue. I want to talk about a couple of the updates. The 2.5 gig tier is new. We didn't always have that. And so that's been introduced in the last year. And it's very popular. We see a lot of people signing up for that. So surprisingly, people are like, yeah, gig's slow, right? We need more than that. We're like, we're happy to provide it. And we can do 10 gig. We've lowered the price for 10 gig since we met last. We continue to develop other things to automate payments and troubleshooting, to switch providers, making things easier for customers. Obviously, it makes things better for us. We don't take as many phone calls, but the customers don't have to stay on hold or reach out to us as much. And the service providers have a lot of automation they can do with us to make things better. I wanted to bring attention to this. This is one of the smart city applications that we have where we have these thermal cameras installed in some cities. And this is the fire just a few days ago. This is a video, so let me just play this. But you can see this has a thermal camera on the right and then an optical camera on the left. And this camera is very far away. I mean, if I zoom it out, it's like the whole area. And it was installed to be looking at Timpanogos. It's located in Orem, but we can steer it, and we steered it and looked at the fire over there in South Provo. And the thermal imaging gives you a really good idea where hot spots are. In fact, I don't know if it'll let me try doing this real quick. It worked. This is a live picture off of that camera right now. And earlier today, boy, they've been at it. Earlier today, I was showing this to someone, and we actually saw a plane come by and drop. Maybe it was a helicopter. We couldn't really tell. But we could see the plane over here, and you could see a couple little hot spots, the little white dots up here on the mountain. And so these types of things can be very helpful as they're trying to identify, do we have any flare-ups? Are there any hot spots? Things like that. Well, these cameras run 24/7. We have this one over in Woodland Hills. We should get one in Payson, shouldn't we?
Yep.
This is over there running 24/7. This was the experimental location. So this camera actually came off eBay, but the other ones we bought, new ones. And we had a team of students at BYU develop the software that tries to identify fires. So there's all this analysis going on. This is all publicly available. Anybody could go to this website and look at the camera feeds. But the idea here is that it's looking for hot spots. We need to change the zoom levels on this, but we have a few of these things installed in different locations. Like here's one up in Layton. That's just kind of watching for fires. And when there is an actual fire, we'll stop it and zoom in and get that better view. But the hope was we could actually identify fires as it scans over these areas and be a little more proactive with identifying wildfires. But the software's it's experimental. There's a team of BYU students developing an AI engine to basically analyze the video feeds and try to find those hot spots. But it's, this black and white image doesn't look very good in this, but it's actually amazingly good in the sense that every pixel essentially is giving you a reading of a temperature at that location. It's not a visual image, it's a thermal detector basically on a pixel by pixel basis. It's toasty. You see like rooftops will hold the heat, and things like that. But
Hmm.
anyways, when you have a fiber network, there's all sorts of really cool things you can do with it, right? So this is a fun example that I like to show.
So when does Payson get one of those neat?
Well, yeah, we should talk about. We need a location. We actually have a camera for Payson. We just don't know where to put it. So
It'll costly to get it up there, but
where?
Four Bay. It's up about 3 miles.
But you gotta see
So,
the mountain.
so the thing is, yeah, we want to be away.
what about the top of Patterson
away
Hill?
from the mountain where you can see the mountain?
Yeah.
So, anyways, maybe brainstorm some ideas, and
Yep.
as long as we got fiber nearby, we'll get that thing installed and
good.
connected. So,
Yeah.
Payson Canyon, you could hit everything.
Yep.
all right. So, anyways, this was just a time lapse. Showed it quickly, so that was kind of fun to see it like that. And there we go. Okay, just the final slide. So, anyways, if you have any follow-up you want to do with me or Nicole, again, sorry you got the downgrade with me, but Nicole is awesome. She's our deputy director, but she's our general counsel as well, and is very involved with legislative issues and the Capitol and all that stuff too. So, anyways, I guess in conclusion, I just say we think we've built a really awesome network, and we think people are happy, and we don't take that for granted. We still see that there's people who are not on the network, so we're constantly marketing and promoting it. The city has been great to work with. David Tuckett has been awesome. He attends a lot of our board meetings and participates a lot with us in strategy, and so we really appreciate the support from the city. And also, as we provide connections for the city itself, I connect to the Wi-Fi here, and I checked to see if the routing was going through Utopian. Of course it is, but we just like to see that and hope that you feel like you've got really awesome broadband at both your city's building, but all the other city locations and facilities across the city.
Yeah.
So, and you have any questions for us? Any complaints?
I think it's just been a real good relationship and hope it continues. Would love to see it.
I did look,
Council-
and Telepop's address on Google is still here.
Good.
Whether or not they're really still here, but that's where their address is.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Roger.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your time.
I think we'll go back to Eric. Eric, are you there?
Ryan is here.
Oh,
Eric couldn't make it tonight.
okay, wonderful.
My name's Ryan Richens. I'm
Hey, Ryan,
consultant project manager on this, working very closely with Eric.
thank you for being here.
So, thank you for letting me come, and I apologize for the delay. Thank you, Jill, for bailing me out when my computer didn't work. Okay. That's showing. Okay. Yeah, just wanted to come and give a basic update on the project. I think previously Eric kind of gave a general overview of the project. There's a few updates we just wanted to make you aware of tonight and see if you had any further questions on. Right off the bat, we recently changed the project name. UDOT went through and changed. If you recall, this was titled the the I-15 Main Street Interchange Project, which refers back to the environmental document that was prepared that included improvements for the Nebo Beltway as well as down at Main Street. To avoid confusion with what the actual scope of our project right now was, the name was changed to the Nebo Beltway Interchange Project, with all the work at Nebo being a future project. As far as the design goes, we recently completed what we title a geometry submittal milestone, which is about a 30% design. Basically sets the alignments, the profiles, the basic footprint, and the basic scope of the project. And we appreciate all the help we received from the city and from other stakeholders in helping us get to that milestone and get to the point we're at today. Currently, we're now pushing forward from that geometry to what we call a 60% or plan in hand design, which is continuing to refine the design elements, updating the project plans, kind of getting the preliminary project plans in place to start getting closer towards that construction milestone. And when we get to that 60% milestone, we'll provide plans and information to the city and others to review and comment on as needed. The environmental reeval that we're working on is continuing to progress, and we are anticipating having the reevaluation documents signed and approved within the next couple of months. One of the items we did want to bring up related to the environmental reevaluation and the scope of the project. In the original environmental document, there were no trails or multi-use paths along this corridor. In the initial stages of the project, it became apparent that a trail was and so we initially added a trail on the north side of the roadway to be built with this project. After some additional coordination and input from the city and from others, we're now looking at, in the future, having a shared use path on both sides of the roadway, of the Nebo Beltway.
I think that's critical. We need that.
Okay, good. Appreciate that. So this is kind of what is shown in the ultimate typical section. Once everything is built out along the Nebo Beltway, 2 lanes each direction, a center median, and those 2 shared use paths.
With expansion in the future.
Yeah.
So I know I hate the thought of this even 100%, but I look at roads like State Street and they progressively get wider and the buildings get closer. I don't know how you guys move those buildings, but they seem to get closer, right? What is the potential width that this thing could actually go? I mean, is this pretty much this is done 100%, or as a future look at this, you drop out that shoulder, you pull out that park strip, you take the shared path down to 5 feet, you could put this could be 4 lanes each direction, couldn't it? Or
Currently, it's planned to be 2 lanes each direction, and that's based on the 2050 traffic projections,
right.
which is as far out as current projections for MAG go.
Okay.
Then there does not, even beyond 2050, we're not seeing a need to go beyond the 2 lanes.
That's good news for
Obviously,
me
things could
as a
change
resident.
beyond
But
that.
the corridor is being protected for the eventuality of that.
It is, yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that also coincides with our general plan. I mean, the
Is-
reason that it would expand in the future is if we dramatically changed our plans to accommodate a significant amount of growth in that area, but this is consistent with what we're considering in that area into the future for
Okay.
a full build out.
Well, I see a little bit of play there. I think it's a great plan. It looks good.
Good.
I like a center median in there, kind of.
And to be clear, this is the Nebo Beltway, or is this the interstate itself?
This is the Nebo Beltway.
Okay, and so we're only doing 2 lanes for now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so what we're saying though, we're not going to let buildings or houses, whatever, get that close. We're going to pretend as if the road is as big as we're going to build it
Yes.
out.
Yeah, the right-of-way
Okay.
corridor is being purchased.
So the
full
right of way
width,
is being preserved.
And the
yeah.
project will build the embankment or the earthwork for the full width, but only pave 1 lane each direction plus that center median. So we'll build like the middle half.
And you said, what was your reference to 2050?
Those are current forecasting projections from MAG, go out to 2050.
Of saying that's when we'll need more lanes, or
No, I'm just saying that's as far as we typically
that's when you
look.
go. Okay, yeah, just
There's that-
clarifying. So we'll definitely need more
There's that
lanes before that.
forecasting
So
year, and that's kind of as far as we look.
okay.
But at
you.
2050, we're still showing additional capacity available with 2
Okay.
lanes each direction.
And I'm highly involved with BAG as the MPO basically is
Yeah.
is where that is put, the rubber meets the road, and so I'm the chair for that for the next 2 years. So
Are you putting the raised median in it, or is it just a center turn lane?
We're putting raised median in. We're still evaluating the limits of the raised median. Yes, there is a plan to put in at least a portion of those raised medians.
I'm looking at Salem's, Elk Ridges, and comparing it, just seeing where we're.
Okay.
I know that's what they did there.
And we continue
Sorry,
to,
Kim.
we continue to be aggressive in trying to find more funding for this as well.
Yeah, understood. I hope you're successful.
I think that looks like a big chunk of road right through the middle of it. I think we're good. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, in general, are there any questions of the overall scope of the project? What's included now, what's not?
So the orange is now,
Yes.
blue is how far out? 3 years, 5 years,
Currently,
25?
Currently, anything beyond what's shown in orange is unfunded. So UDOT does not have a timeline yet of when that would start. They're knowing that all those improvements are needed in that 2040 to 2050 timeframe, but currently unfunded.
And that falls back to us to do, try and find the funding.
Yeah.
As we're actively doing.
Yeah, and obviously hoping the funding that I have faith in our mayor that we will get the extra funding. Priority, we need extra, those southbound ramps completed. That's just a must for
That's high on our list.
for commercial and residential ease of access to get in and out of Nebo Beltway.
Does Payson Main Street still have its southbound off ramp with this system?
So our project won't impact Main Street, but in the future, the environmental document did show that connection still. That ramp is still in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't see it on your map, so I just thought I would ask.
There's about 3 different phases, and we'll try to hurry those phases up.
Apologize.
Yeah. We also wanted to talk tonight a little bit about landscaping and aesthetics and potential treatments along the corridor. I don't know if you want to cover anything there now or wait till the work session.
Yeah, we'll probably go over that in the work session.
Okay.
Right, Robert?
Okay, perfect. As far as milestones, upcoming milestones go, we are planning for a public meeting this fall. The date has not been set yet, but should be coming up within the next couple of months. Our construction timeline, we're anticipating beginning some construction in 2026. There's a lot of earthwork involved in this project. There will be settlement and settlement mitigation, ground improvements. We're anticipating starting that work in 2026 with the full construction then starting in 2027 and going through 2028. So if all things continue to go well, the roadway would be open then in 2028. These are just our project communication channels for anyone that's interested in updates, regular updates on the project. They can visit the website, they can send an email to be put on the mailing list, or call the hotline if there's ever questions that anyone wants to have answered. So. And I think with that, are there any questions?
And any
So,
quick?
how come you want to put something in the middle of it? Like a flower or trees or something?
So the raised medians would be for access control.
Oh, sorry.
What the decoration or what treatments were then put in the median is still to be determined. Whether it's
Well, we
landscaping.
really don't need the medium, do we?
For access control, UDOT's preference is to have the median in place for a facility of this type to help with access management and with safety.
Mount Loafer Parkway does not have a median. I'm just curious what the pros and cons are to each.
There's definitely pros and cons to both. For the specifics, I would probably refer back to UDOT or defer to them,
Okay.
but we can certainly talk about that more in a future session.
I think the important thing to remember here is UDOT's plan is not to allow businesses to access this road. You'll see the backs of businesses, you'll see the backs of subdivisions. They'll go to lights, they'll go out of the lights and come back into the subdivisions from behind. So the center median is to mitigate any of that kind of cross traffic that would happen. More like Highway 6 does once it hits above McDonald's, where you get in and out in certain spots. That's more the type of road we're looking at. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
This is considered or will be considered a limited access facility. So there will be designated access points. UDOT's working on an agreement with the city, putting that together now in draft form, but to document where those intersections would be in the future. And then any additional interchanges or intersections that the city or developers desired would have to go through the standard UDOT process to get warranted.
We okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 4. Bill Elric. Carol, you're just going to sit there, aren't you? Okay.
Thank you for having me here tonight for a report for the festival. I will say to you right off that I am here not as the president. I stepped down last week, and Maggie Monroe, my vice president, stepped up, but she is in California. So she has asked Carol and I to stay on as advisors, and she asked me to come here tonight to just give a report on how it all went. And I think we can say we had a very successful festival. I don't know how many of you were there, but we had the crowds that we usually have. The vendors were all extremely happy that it's a free festival and the people come in to Payson and from surrounding districts with full wallets, and they attempt to empty them. So it's been good. It's been good. Entertainment this year, we had 2 out of state groups. Our usual one that we had, Men of Worth, which they're great. They are a little, I'm not going to say staid, it's not the right word, but they are gentle. The other group we saw them up at Salt Lake last year and said to them, we want you down here this year. They're called the AML Trio, 3 guys out of Seattle. 3 guys out of Seattle. And they are very energetic. I don't know if any of you saw them, but we've had some really good feedback about having them come to the festival. So we've invited them back again next year. Pipe bands. This year we had a record number we had the usual number of pipe bands. We had about 13 pipe bands, but we had a record number of soloists competing. We had 80 soloists who came to compete. And we're thinking that next year we will probably have to have an additional judge, because having 80 soloists and the bands all day Saturday, it's kind of at the limit of what judges can handle. Because they need breaks and they need meals. So that's the direction we're looking next year. One of the things at the festival that people say, why have you got that here? It's called the Welsh cakes. I don't know if any of you tried them. I have. I quite like them. My wife hates them. But the reason we've had them is it's tradition. They've been coming to the festival for years. A couple of years ago, this will be a 3rd year. 3 years ago, the company decided they didn't want to do festivals anymore. They just wanted to, their retail business has been growing so fast. So they decided, they offered the festivals the opportunity to take them on, and we've done that. It's been difficult to get volunteers to man the Welsh Cakes booth, Friday evening and all day Saturday. But the first year we ran out at 10:30 on Saturday morning. Last year we ran out at midday. This year we ran out at 3:30. So we're getting to the stage where we're ordering the right amount, but they are incredibly successful. From the point of view of the festival, we make 140% profit on them. So it's worthwhile, it's very worthwhile having them. It adds an extra about 7,500 onto our revenue, which is considerable. Okay, any questions?
I think we're satisfied.
Any idea how many people we did see over the weekend?
I wish I could tell you, Ryan. It's impossible because, we don't have a gate. We don't
Right.
have, any fencing.
Which I love. I love that it's an open event, that it's free. I love this tradition, this festival. So glad that we do it here in Payson. As I drive around, I see as many cars and people around as I would for Labor Day. So I anticipate I think it's right up there with our biggest town
Yeah,
celebration.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've been told that it seems to be growing.
Yeah.
We seem to be getting
Oh, yeah.
people from further out coming in, you know, being attracted in. There is another festival in Utah which shall not be named that is losing attendees because their costs have gone up so much and they've had to increase the cost to the public. And on their on their website, we keep saying seeing comments like, go to Payson, it's free. We don't go, yay, but we'd like to. But yeah, it's, I've told our chieftain, the mayor, that we've been approached in the past to move it because we're constrained by the size of the park. But now we've got access to the school, we've got Library Square, we've got enough room to expand. And I've made it very well known to Bill that we're staying in Payson.
That's
It's the
wonderful.
Payson Scottish Festival and it always will be.
Well, it dates back to 1984. Would really hate to lose it.
Say that again?
I say dates back to 1984 when it started, and it's
Yep.
something we don't want to lose.
This was our 41st year, which is quite amazing when you think about the fact it's run by a small band of volunteers and has been for 41 years.
And that's one of the best parts about it. So thank you to the board and the volunteers that run it, and you have Payson City support. We love having you here.
Well, thank you on behalf of the board for Payson City, because having now come under the umbrella of the city, we can see some
Benefits.
I was very nervous a few years ago, and you can attest to that, Mayor.
Yes,
But
can.
it's been good for the festival. I think it's been good for Payson.
Yes.
Yep, it really has. So thank you for your dedication and
I'm just going to give three of you the pin for this year, which was designed by my wife. It's actually the same as the medals that were given out to the dancers and the pipers.
thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
I was hoping for free admission to next year's.
I've already got mine.
Yeah.
No, don't double the
Thank
admission
you.
for me. What I paid was great.
Already got mine. It's on my lapel.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 5, public forum. We'll go ahead and open a public forum. Anyone can speak on something that's not on the agenda, and please be cognizant of your time and let us know who you are. Okay, not seeing anyone here to take advantage of that. Anybody online? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public forum and we'll move on to staff reports. Any staff want to? Oh.
Mayor and council, I first want to back up to Salmon Supper and thank you guys for your hard work. Of course, I wasn't there this year, but I appreciate your hard work and serving up that salmon. I heard it was very successful, so thank you. I just want to do a shout out for Onion Days next week, if you can believe it. It's really snuck up on us this year, I think. So just be prepared to be in town, especially Saturday morning. Plan to be around the park at that time. Anyway, so we have many festivities that we've had for years and years. Flower and Art Show is one of the longest running events in Utah with all the events that the cities have. That one's a long lasting event. So anyway, we have some fun things this year. We're adding a treasure hunt. The main sponsor for that is Patterson Homes, which we appreciate. It'll start on Friday, very family oriented. After that, they can do the bigger treasure hunt. I've got a exciting team that's put this together, and the winner will receive $3,000 if they can find the treasure. So it'll be fun. Anyway, if you have any questions,
And where's that treasure going to be?
Yeah,
She said any question.
it's true. I don't
She's not gonna
even,
tell you.
yeah, I don't even know. So,
Hey, just so everybody's aware, and I don't want to embarrass you, Janine, but the only reason that Janine was not at the salmon supper, and this is the only thing that kind of kept her away from it, is her husband had a medical emergency. She was taking care of her husband.
thank you.
But it did run really smooth.
Good.
April helped out a bunch and it went well, but you were definitely missed.
Yeah. Well, I was there Friday morning till about 2. So I did walk her through everything. So she's a good kid and she's my right hand woman. So,
And one more thing too, council, we need to, and we don't have to do it tonight, but we need to let Janine know what we're gonna do as far as an entry into the parade too, as a council.
Can do whatever she tells us to.
Oh, geez, that's a lot of
yeah.
moxie.
Okay. I've got my pooper scoopers.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Janine.
I got a skid steer. It don't run good. It leaks a lot of oil.
Not on our new road. You can't take that.
What?
You can't take that on our new road. It's leaking oil.
Yeah.
Mayor and council, I was glad Janine didn't ask for any money so you guys would pay attention, but so I got an email today from UDOT. This is way out, but in 2027 they're going to be redoing Main Street from SR 198 north. So doing some new pavement, overlay or whatever. So they're talking about restriping it. So they're going to put a center median or not median, but a center turn lane and then 2 through lanes and then a shoulder on each side. But all the parking will go away if we do that because there's not room to keep it. So
About an hour later.
I was in favor of it. I just want to make sure all you guys knew that it was coming. I mean, like I said, this is not a,
North Main from
From the
that's
freeway to
198 to the
100 north.
freeway.
And what parking in particular would that
Are we talking
negate?
about
street parking.
the bike lane?
No,
No.
this is where UDOT owns that section of road. So
Can we talk about side lane? Like,
No.
Someone has to be really brave to ride in that park lane when they're going 35, 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I think that was me a waste.
Well, we
But-
don't have a whole bunch of input on that. We can try.
I think we should try.
We did, but
Yes, Travis,
we'll continue to.
For me, I'm visual. I'd like to see the map of where that would impact and the
it's
parking.
everybody, all those residential homes, all the way from SR 198 up to the freeway.
They would have to pull into their driveway.
Well, they should be anyway, because it's
I know they should be.
like right now there is no. As you guys know, if somebody's turning left, you can't get around them unless you go just around them and you're outside the lane. So I
We-
think this would be much safer and a better option than so.
And what are they gonna, are they gonna do out there at 1900 South soon?
Not that I.
That intersection you're talking about?
Yeah. that
There's
intersection.
money that's been allocated for that, but it's not
I
this
haven't
year
heard
or
any
next.
dates or anything of when they're doing anything out there.
I'm fine with this, but it'd be really nice if we could look at a stoplight at 4th North. I don't know. I know it's kind of tight. It's close, but that is the one that goes underneath the freeway.
Anytime we have brought it up, they said it's not warranted at either 3rd or 4th North.
Yeah.
Well, 4th would be the one I would pick because it's the one that goes under the freeway, but
You can't get out of there
Yeah.
either at between 8 and 9 in the morning or 4 to 6
W-
at night. You don't eat
Yeah.
and dry.
We've asked UDOT many times in the past to do a study there, and they've done that, and we've not been able to meet the standards for it, but that doesn't mean we don't try it again.
Yeah, there's not enough side traffic to warrant it. Just wanted to give that heads up to you. And then yesterday with the state, we had the dam inspections up the canyon on all our lakes. So that went well with the water department. So they've done a great job of getting those ready. And we had a couple little punch list items, but it was pretty minor. So they did a good job.
So what we're looking at is it's down a lot further. So it's in front of Payson Market and that area.
Yep.
Okay. I was thinking the other end, clear over by Spring Lake. So
Nope.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this right now makes sense to me. That's a darn busy road now.
Yep.
And to have the chance
I
to,
was in favor of it.
yeah. And you're saying widen it too? Is that
No, not widen it, just overlay it.
okay?
Strip off the asphalt, put some more back on.
Yeah.
maybe take the hump off of it that makes it go like this.
Yeah.
We need
That I
that to
don't
shed
know.
water.
Well, it's got a little bit too much there. I mean, it's not tsunami area, but well, I got you at the podium.
I I know, that's why I don't like getting that. No, I'm just kidding.
Are we okay on the budget for the I don't remember the name of the subdivision. Right there on 4th North, between 4th and 5th East. When they asked for approval for that subdivision, I had implied that we needed to make sure that we did that upper corner, and I know there were a lot of expenditures that were added to that. I just don't want to feel like we've overspent trying to make sure that we'd fix that drainage problem on that hill.
Between that,
The one I talked to you
3rd
about
South and 100 North, we are trying to finish those projects and then see where we are at on budget before we do anything else.
Okay.
So yeah,
That was a very, very good political answer. I appreciate
yes,
that.
no problem.
There are a lot of big projects going on, and I want to shout out to the street crews and the subcontractors that you've hired. There's a lot. I mean, and it takes a long time, but it's moving forward. I think it's a step in the right direction. So
No, we're doing a lot of good work. So.
Yep.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Travis. Any other staff? Oh, yeah, I knew you'd get up here, Chief.
How'd you know that?
Just knowing.
Well, I learned from Janine that if you get up here and speak, then you can leave. So she snuck right.
oh, didn't you know we were handing out bonus checks later?
Right. Just to give you an update, we talked about the fire restrictions and stuff in council meeting. The Forest Service that following Thursday night, I got the notice late at night that we're moving Friday to a stage 1 restriction, where the rest of the state is in a stage 2, which means no fires at all. So as we mentioned, we follow suit with the Forest Service, but when they restrict theirs to a stage 1, we typically stop fires in our area in the Payson Canyon Park. So we put that notice out Friday as well. And we also posted signs in our park. At the entrances, we put signs in every fire pit. So there's no question. So at least it gives us something to start a fire with, right? But we still continue to get a few calls up the canyon with people having campfires wherever. So we've been trying to work with the Forest Service. We don't mind going up and helping enforce that, but that really should fall under them. So, and one evening we had to go up 2 different times and notify every campfire in the canyon from Black Hawk down. So it takes some time. So we're trying to work with them and educate the people. Hopefully they'll get some type of a sign at the entrance of the canyon to let them know there is no fires allowed up the canyon other in the Payson Lakes campground areas, and that's it. So has to be their improved fire pits that they've put in. So, but
Those great big signs.
yeah, we're hoping for that, but we'll see.
No fires, no fires.
Yes. We're just nervous because you still see people post in the 4-Bay area. People are still having fires here and there. And it just, hopefully we don't have anything like Provo or some of the other communities have had. It only takes a second before it's so dry. So hopefully we get lots of rain this weekend. So
Maybe on that big sign that says no fire, we could put a QR code that gives them the option to prepay for forest fires.
exactly.
So that they can scan that and then they can have the permission to build that fire.
Yes. Just on that note, every fire we've been going on in the county for state or federal, they are going after and billing them for the cost of the fires. So yeah, if you start a fire, you're going to now pay for them. So, and they get pretty pricey.
I think they went after that one guy that started it with his vehicle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even if it's accidental, they go after them now and get what they can. Because some of those fires are in the millions. Yeah. So those, like the VLATs that drop, that's about 25,000 at least for every drop. So yeah, a lot of money in a hurry. Anyway, thanks.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone from staff running up. We'll go to council reports and start with Council Hyatt.
Hey, I want to say something. Sorry.
Oh,
This is Donna.
oh, sorry.
I don't know how to raise my hand, but I'll just talk.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to report that our summer reading went really, really well this year. And we wrapped it up. We had over 1,000 participants, and they all participate to certain levels, but 400 people completed the whole program, which was about a third. So that was really good. We had a little mini art show that we really, really liked because it went with the theme. And we had 60 adults and over 30 teens. And I was really amazed by the talent that we have. The mayor came and gave an award too. So he got to see some of the artwork. It was awesome.
Well, thank you.
And we've had really, really good attendance and really good just people still coming in. We were worried with the back parking lot that we would see a real decrease in people coming into the library, but we don't feel like it really affected our summer reading programs or our story times at all. So we've been happy that that hasn't seemed to stop people from coming in. And I just wanted to say that I have really loved the new Main Street. I sometimes am here late at night. Not always, just every once in a while, or when we leave at 8, it's starting to get dark, but it just feels really, really safe. And it didn't feel that way when I started here 12 years ago. I just really think I see people down there strolling around. I think it's really, really been a great asset. So that's all. Oh, and we love the new book drop out in the front too. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Donna. We appreciate all your hard work, and we really do appreciate your. Okay. Council.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
It's just hot outside. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Can't control that one, huh?
No.
Okay, Councilor Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. And yeah, Donna, the library is such a wonderful asset for our city. I'm always so impressed with what you do with what you have. It's always very clean and organized. And we've utilized that drop box on the street itself many times. We're frequent visitors to the library, so thank you and your wonderful staff over there at the library. I want to voice my condolences and support for the city of Tremonton and the Tremonton police officers. I'm sure that Chief Bishop's been in contact and support of that department. I know that he would be and is, and it just reminded me of I hope we never have to experience what the city of Tremont went through. And to those families, we express our condolences and love to them. And Chief Bishop, make sure that our officers know of our support and love for them as well. And we hope we never, ever have to go through anything like that. But if we do, I'm confident Payson would be just as unified and loving as Tremonton's been. But what a wonderful city and wonderful department, and we express our support and condolences to that department.
Before we move on, I'd like to say ditto. Thank you for bringing that up. We extend our condolences to the families and the city itself. So thank you.
Oh, I agree 100% with that. It's really tough. When I was listening, I have a brother that's on Salem's police force, and it just scares me every time, and my heart goes out to all of those people. I really feel it is horrible situation. Main Street, yes, wonderful. I can't believe the people I see walking with strollers and on the streets. Look forward to the completion of the parking lot behind there, and then I really would love to see time limits put up. Don't know if we really need to spend a whole lot of time regulating it, but let's try to put it up there maybe as this self-aware kind of regulation for people. Give them a couple of hours and see if we can move them on, just to kind of keep that open and flowing. Bigger factor there is that I think people are parking long-term and taking the good spots. And that's really my concern. That's why I say we don't necessarily need to police it. But, you know, if they go up at 10 o'clock at night and they go up again at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's all the same cars, maybe we need to teach them to park in the back.
And hopefully the parking lot will alleviate that.
Yes,
We'll see,
yes. And that's why I haven't pushed really hard right now. I'm just still, you got to keep, you know, feeding the fire just a little bit or it dies out. The table of administrators over there, do I have permission? Can I talk about the primary elections as long as I don't endorse any particular candidates for the final election? I just was really impressed with the number of people who came out and voted. I know I personally didn't campaign super hard, I have a very firm belief that an incumbent sitting politician really should run on their merits. I look at our president of the United States when they come up at term and they spend a year and a half campaigning. I'm like, that's American money you're spending. And it really irritates me. So I just want the public to know it wasn't that I didn't want to serve. It's not that I haven't loved serving, but I really felt like it was my merits that I was running on. And I think sometimes just the lack of visibility makes it tough. And I am excited for those 4 candidates to move forward. And I wish all of them the very best. It's not an easy job up here, but it is very rewarding, for sure. So, and I wish them the best of luck. And if there's anything I can do, let me know. But thank you for the support that I did receive. And I haven't, it's been great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it. Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to E, action items. Ordinance request for the NC neighborhood commercial overlay on Utah County parcel number 08-139-0001, located at 590 South Main Street for use as office space. Okay, Michael.
So I don't have a presentation for you today. It's mainly just going to be images and maps and things from the area so that you know the area that we're talking about. But I think most of you are aware of the location. Maybe this is not the right one. I had oh, there it is. So,
it's the old
so right here,
center.
Yeah,
it's that old family history center building. And then I've got some other images I can share with you to give you a better idea of that. But
well, I think it's important to remember, to interject a little bit here, that this is an historic building, and as a council, we tried to encourage the previous owners to donate it or whatever it might be for purposes of a museum or whatever it might be. But I think if we lean away from any of this, it might be economical for somebody to tear it down. And so it's important to remember if we need to try to preserve what we've got and what it looks like. So
agreed. And the applicants actually want to enhance the building a little bit, taking out those white panels and putting glass windows back in there, for example.
Which was it there in the past?
Right. I think there were stained glass even. I'm not sure, but
well, I don't know the stained glass, but there was absolutely glass there.
So we felt as staff that this was a good use of the neighborhood commercial overlay for this property. That overlay does allow for various uses that you saw in your staff report, but even if any of those uses were to come here in the future, we still felt as if we would be okay with that. That being said, the biggest concern here was parking, because it pretty much takes up the majority of the lot for the building and the small grass area you can see there in front. But traditionally on 6 South side is where they've been perpendicular parking, and we would just recommend that would continue with the crosscut style drainage to be able to go across that, and the applicant would install that drainage.
And for the record, Mike, what were examples of businesses that could be allowed in this overlay?
I'd have to pull up that staff report, but I believe the most intense in that neighborhood commercial would be like a rec center, for example. Again, uses, just because it's permitted, it doesn't mean it can go there. A rec center is going to need a lot more parking than something like this.
And a bigger building, I'd say too. Yeah.
But that would be probably like the most intense for this overlay.
Well, I wouldn't want to become a small homemade knife shop either. You know, that's foundry work, heavy, loud, those kind of things. So that's why when you say that that's the most it can be, it's not industrial. It's not. It's more commercial
it's meant
retail.
To be conducive with residential.
A small office building.
And we get to take a look at that regardless, right?
I'm sorry?
And we get to take a look at that regardless when it comes to be.
No, as long as it's
if
within
this
the
overlay is
permitted
approved,
use.
then any of those uses could be permissible there.
And I think that's a good way to look at it, because I hate to do it specifically. Oh yeah, that'd be a great spot for an ice cream shop. Yeah, I'll approve it because it's ice cream, but I don't want a hot dog stand there, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's important that we keep that ambiguity or whatever, you know, that we stay open to whatever.
And just to make you aware, Planning Commission granted a positive approval for this use. So,
Any questions?
Yeah, I think as long as I looked in at the renderings, and as long as the parking's addressed and they install that cross cut, the drainage, and yeah, make sure they're not blocking the road, and yeah, I think it fits well with the mortuary, and then also you have American Beauty and Bevy's down the street as well. So I feel like, yeah, so I feel like this is a natural phasing of this area, especially as Main Street gets busier and busier. And I agree with Council Christensen. This is a good way to preserve this building. I'm excited that they're looking at changing it rather than just tearing it down. It's a very unique building. It'd be neat to see what someone could do with it.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Yeah. Mayor, I motion that we approve the request for the neighborhood commercial overlay on Utah County parcel number 0813900001 located at 590 South Main Street for use as office space.
I would like to second that
Okay,
motion.
we have a motion and been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Rowley?
Yes.
Council Wyatt? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to number 2, ordinance amendments to the Payson City Code Title 10.16.210, reimbursement for public improvements. Travis, you're up again.
Money.
Well, maybe, maybe not.
Mayor and council, so this is just an amendment to our ordinance. It's on reimbursement agreements. So if a developer puts in off-site utilities, they are allowed to do a reimbursement agreement. So any property owner in between where they started to their development, you know, would have to pay that agreed upon per foot cost for, say, a water line or sewer line or whatever in between, because they had to pioneer it. So this is to just change the time period in there. Our current ordinance says it's 10 years that they can get reimbursed. This will change it to 20. And then it will also give a ability for them to extend that to another 10 years if they meet certain requirements. So this will be just so that, you know, utilities obviously should last a lot longer than 20 years. Roads, if you don't do anything, their lifespan is 20 years in asphalt. So we felt like this was a compromise with some complaints we've had from some developers to say, we'll allow this, but then if they wanted to go longer than that, they would have to do some studies and stuff on our utilities with us to determine if they're in good enough condition to even warrant going farther. So
Yeah, that we'd have to look at it real close. They want to push it out to 30 years, right? That's what it would
Yep.
be.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's-
that comes really hard too, because we could record it against properties and stuff. So it shows up on title reports and that. So it doesn't get lost, but you start getting out 20, 30 years.
That's a long
No
time.
staff's most likely here that was here when you did the agreement. Plus, you know, the developers are, I mean, who knows where they're at. And so I think any longer than that gets kind of cumbersome for everybody. So
I think 20 years should be the limit, unless there's some extraordinary circumstances.
Well, just as a thought, outside the box here, I'm sorry, I apologize. This is probably a question more for our attorney than anything. Is this something that maybe we could recommend to the state that we could have the developer actually put on a non-collectible lien on a property that says, hey, I know this lien is here, but it doesn't encumber against the property until a development is triggered. I mean, it would have to be a code written. Might be a question for Doug, but to say like this, we go through here and we put this road in, and you put that lien on there, it becomes part of the title company's process to find that, not ours to remember it throughout the years. But
just doing this, we're not required to change it. We just had some developers complain about it, saying that it should be indefinite. I don't agree with that at all. This is like a compromise with them.
right.
Go a little bit longer, but and I've done a survey of different cities throughout the valley. They've done 10, 20 years. So I mean, we're basically showing favor to them. I think after that, like I said, Travis, that they should have to prove it.
I think it should be it should be prorated, and that's why I wonder if maybe a bigger bill or something that would help us with that says, hey, yeah, we put this in, but we said it would last 30 years. Well, if they do a shoddy job of putting it in and there's only 15 years worth of life in it, they shouldn't get any money for it. And yeah. Right. I don't know. I could see just like a quick sewer line. You run a camera down through it and go, hey, you know what? Why do we got dips in these?
Yep.
2 years later, you're not entitled to your pioneering agreement.
And
we're
we're
going to take the
requiring-
full amount for that because we need to fix your install.
And we're requiring the developer to pay for all that to make sure that it's still, if they request it,
Yeah.
then we're making them pay for it, not us.
So, I don't know.
We have a say in the inspection though, of who conducts and we can conduct our own or.
Yeah, we have to be present too. So,
Okay.
but
Because it's our facilities.
correct.
Yep.
They're put in, but they're deeded over to us.
Yep.
Question, so if you're going by somebody's house, don't they have to hook into it if they're within, like if it's sewer, like within 300 feet? something?
Yes, our ordinance says
So if
that.
it's
So
water and sewer and stuff like that, like, I'm just saying, like, if you were to go out Utah Avenue, you're going out past houses all over.
yeah, this like, I mean, a good example is Arrowhead Trail, right? Because there's nothing out there right now between like where the church is and where those two developments are going on. So that's the perfect example of like, there was nothing else to do other than they just had to extend the utilities to service their developments. So
Which one is it?
Arrowhead Ranch and the Villages both had to, they both
Both
had
of them. The one had to pay the other one they tied into it, but the other one had to. And I think we had an agreement. One did the sewer and one did the PI, if I'm not mistaken. Something.
So Terry Harward, that on the Villages, they put in both the culinary and the PI, and then they had some of the sewer. So yeah, there was reimbursements to them when.
But I think the sewer goes the other direction anyway.
It goes to Salem.
Yeah, be pretty dumb to pump that when it's next door.
So
I think it's a good compromise. Okay.
I do. I just was kind of maybe looking at something, but that would definitely have to be a prorated thing,
Correct.
in my opinion. You go out 50 years, if that pipe's not going to hold, it's not worth
No.
taking somebody else's money for it. But
Nope.
Yeah, and then 30 years is a long time. I think that's plenty long.
Yeah.
I wish it would have been 25, but
Yep.
that's.
Well, really, it's just 20 is what we're.
I know, but with the extension, it's the extra.
And I
10. Yeah.
really don't know if there'd be too many instances where we would want to even extend it, but
I hope not.
it's an
yeah.
option.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the amendments to the Payson City Code Title 10.16.210 reimbursement for public improvements.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Hyatt. Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thanks, Travis. Number 3, resolution agreement with Payson Hospitality Group. Dave?
Yeah, Mayor and
This is with
Council,
Mary Patel.
you've got a draft agreement here. We, the company that's going to start building the Marriott Hotel by Walmart, they sent an email. I don't know if it was you, Mayor, or Brian, and he forwarded on to me. We indicated that we cannot waive impact fees. In the past, we don't do it often, and we don't have a lot of guidelines, but we offered that we could have the impact fees paid over a monthly fee on the utility bill until it's paid. That's what we're proposing here. We're hoping that Jill and myself and Brandon and Robert could sit down and have some guidelines for future requests. We don't want this to be the norm, but there are certain circumstances. We did it once with Temkin International when they were Temkin, but they had to upgrade their power from a 400 amp to like an 800 amp, and the impact fee for that was over 400,000, and so we allowed them to pay that monthly over a period of time, and then WICP with some of their industrial. So some of the power impact fees are really high when you get up in that high of a use. So I think there's options to help in that nature. I know we get told that, Rocky Mountain doesn't charge impact fees. I think they do. They just put it into the rate. But so we will come back with some guidelines that you guys can address and maybe help us approve those. But this is for the the hospital, or not the hospital, the hotel that's to be built. And
And just so the council knows, when we met with Gary, he doesn't have a cash flow yet, and this would put a pretty big responsibility on no cash flow. And then he said, once he had the cash flow, he could see himself paying the rest of it off at that point in time too.
Yeah, I struggle with this a little bit. Waiving impact, well, not waiving,
Not
sorry.
waiving.
What's the word? Not
I guess deferring,
extending,
collecting over a
allowing
period.
payments for impact fees. Yeah, this is something our city deeply relies on, though, is these impact fees, because it does create impact to our infrastructure and system. And I don't want to get in the game of picking winners and losers of which businesses we offer this to and which we don't. We would never do this for a residential, like, of someone building a house. And so I guess for me, I'm not comfortable with the idea of doing the entire amount and allowing them to do payments on that. I'm okay for a portion, but not the entire amount of the impact fees. I just feel we rely on that too much, and I want to help them out too, but they've got to realize that this is an impact, and it's a big investment for all of us, including in Payson City when we're running the power and everything out there. It's a high power usage building as a hotel.
The other thing we got to remember here too, and I agree with you, but the other thing we got to remember is what that will bring to us in addition to them, and the financial boom that it would bring for us to be able to have the hotel there and have some pads that will be ancillary to the hotel, but they will be coming to us, and those impact fees will come to us as well. If we don't get the hotel, those impact fees will not come either. So.
Yeah, that's an important thing to know too, the long-term and short-term gain that would come from this. But yeah, doing the entire amount for the impact fees, I don't think it's fair.
Just to, for argument's sake, I've been on here for almost 8 years, and we have worked with 5, 6 different hotel companies trying to come to Payson, and tried to get them to come, and we just can't seem to get past about this stage. And I think maybe just a little bit of that economic incentive that we've done with, Paris RV. We gave them, and we have had bad experiences. To me, I don't feel like Walgreen was a good experience. Paris RV was an exceptional experience, and the values there were so far different. I would think that it would have to come down to how much money are we talking? What are we looking at? The other thing I'm wondering about is I've stayed in a lot of hotels, and I get up to the counter and go to pay my bill, and there's this city tax, this little fee that the city charged me to even be in their community.
Room tax. Yep.
And it might not be much, might be $3 to $5, $8 at the most, whatever it might be, but a couple hundred of those every night adds up pretty quick, And I don't want to discourage people from stopping here. Well, I can drive to, say, a Spanish Fork and stay there for $3 less, but that might be an incentive to us. Maybe we could look at a tourism tax, whatever they're calling those, something is slipping in there. But, I don't want to just give it out. I mean, if it's a 2-year loan, that's great. But if we're going to pay a little bit over 20 years I'll side with Ryan. It's too long to stretch it out. And
this is a 3-year agreement.
This has to be paid in 3 years.
Yeah. And we have 6 years to be able to pay those, to use those impact fees too. So it was well within that.
It all works that we can do it. So
the difference between this and a residential area is the residential becomes a drain on it. This becomes
this is
an asset.
And I think it'd really boost the area. I mean, we've got lots of new restaurants, lots of things coming in right there. People are going to be getting off the freeway. It's enough reason to stop, spend the night, and it's a Marriott, which to me is a step up from some of the others. I'm not going to throw names out there by any means, and I think our little hotel in Payson has done great. And they re-up, they repaint, they keep it going. And I mean, it's been there for a long time, and I appreciate them. And I hope this encourages more people to come to Payson. Both of these hotels need to thrive. It's not a matter of driving one out of business, but
We
So-
need another hotel in Payson. I just
Bad,
curious,
yeah.
in the conversations, was there ever a conversation of doing a portion? Or was it just, hey, we want all of the impact fees?
Well, it wasn't
payment?
as big of an impact as like the ones I just gave you the examples, so we included all of them, but hadn't talked to him about that. Like I say, we want to bring some guidelines so that you're all comfortable if this ever happens, but since we didn't have one, thought with this amount, it would be okay to do this one, but it's totally up to you guys. I think he owns a lot of hotels around the state. I think they do a good job. They maintain them really well. So it's something that we're looking forward to, but it's totally up to the council. Just so that you all know, we don't have a full council here today. So any resolution has to have at least 3 yes votes.
Not unanimous, because he would be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but
There's not a
there's only
tiebreaker
3.
here 'cause
It'd
there's
have
only
to be
3
all
of
3 in the affirmative. If it's not, then it fails. If it's 2-1, it fails.
Yeah.
That is good to remember those rules.
But yeah, and if you want us to go back and talk to him, I know we can do that. I know the mayor can talk to him. We're just
I just think it's critical. We don't want to not be benefited from a hotel of that stature.
And I, I mean, I look at this, if I was building my house, I would want to put that in my initial loan, because I'd stretch it over 30 years. And I think he's at this point where I can pay cash for this if I can finance this for 3 years. And I think that's kind of the push we're looking at.
I think that it's a unique situation, and as long as we follow through with what Davis said and make sure that we're prepared next time if anything like this happens, that would be my input.
I guess I feel like maybe we have a little bit more conversation. We table it and see if they're willing to pay some of it up front, to put some
I
skin.
think
in the
he's
game.
getting ready to pull a building permit right now.
I know when we met with him, it was going to be sometime in August, so I think it's getting close, but yeah, whatever you guys feel.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
Well,
Are we
I
ready?
want to table, because but the information I have right now, I would vote differently and it would fail.
Okay. Well, then, if you want to table this, we
You
can
can make a
table it.
motion to table it.
If that's the motion that's presented, that's the motion.
I'll
we'll
try,
vote
yeah.
on.
Mayor, I make a motion that we table the agreement with Payson Hospitality Group, so that staff and others can meet with them to come up with hard numbers and look at these impact fees.
Okay, is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion, has been seconded, on this motion, roll call vote, Council Christensen,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we move to F, the work session, and we'll listen to Dave again.
Yeah. Let's see. I can. Sorry. I just wanted to talk to talk a little bit about the conversion of Strawberry Valley Project water to M&I use. Just wanted to give you a little update and a few timelines. If I can get this to work. So, and I pilfered some of these photos from Strawberry Valley, from Strawberry water users, but
I thought you took that picture.
well, I'm in it. There's just some history in July when the settlers came in 1860. South Utah Valley began diverting water from the Spanish Fork River. By 1900, there was additional water needed to bring more land into agricultural production. And so in 1902, the there was paperwork filed to petition the government to build a reservoir, the Strawberry Reservoir. And these are just some cool pictures. This was, the Strawberry Valley Project was started in 1905. This is part of the West Portal Tunnel, 3.5 miles long. It's interesting because they started on both sides, and the engineering was pretty amazing. They were only a few inches apart to get there. So
I hear those stories, it blows my mind.
I know. This was the inlet structure of the Strawberry Reservoir, you know, when it was being built. There's the dam. I remember fishing up there a lot in the original Strawberry Valley Project. My family had one of those little Yogi Bear trailers when they were all trailers up there. This is the Strawberry West Portal structure, the power canal, Spanish Fork Canyon, and this is the structure there in Canyon. I won't take a lot of time, but it's just part of the project. The strawberry water users, they were created in the early 1920s. The Bureau of Reclamation wanted them to be to collect the bills to pay for the project, and so that the Bureau didn't have to go after, you know, to assess each individual farmer. They made strawberry water users able to do that. You look at the population that's coming, there's less and less commercial agricultural going on in the valley. Right here's this was slides from to their board is like, what is strawberry water user trying to fix, or what's the problem? And it's just the amount of growth that's happening. There's the 1920 Act that basically said that the incidental use of the water can be used on small lots and lawns and gardens, stuff like that. Payson City and Spanish Fork, Payson City entered into contracts in 1917 and 1919 for 1,400 acre feet of water. Spanish Fork was about 500 acre feet at the time, but we were one of the original contracts to bring water to this valley. And so we've always been part of the Strawberry Valley Project, but the Bureau of Reclamation considered that just incidental use for the cities, because most of it was for the agricultural use and the irrigation uses. But as growth comes, there's more and more water being used for that, and the Bureau of Reclamation is indicating that it's hard to justify that this is incidental use now, because more and more is being used for development purposes. So the Bureau of Reclamation, they've been working with us for a long time. The way when development happened for the past 15 years or so, when a piece of property developed, there would be a water dedication agreement that was signed by the property owner, because the water's all attached to the property. And they would dedicate that water to the city for the use of, to build a subdivision or things like that. And the Bureau signed off on those, but recently, in the last few years, they said they're no longer want to do that, because they feel like it's illegal. The water has to be converted for M&I use. So here's the entities that have been working with pursuing conversion of the Strawberry Valley Project. We're one of them: Spanish Fork, Salem, Strawberry Water User, Springville, Mapleton Irrigation Districts, the river companies, Bureau of Reclamation, Highline Canal. And so right now, Payson has about 3,300 acre feet of Strawberry Valley Project water that is delivered to our pressurized irrigation ponds to be spread out for lawns and gardens. The Highline Canal delivers that. Central Utah Water Conservancy District, they now operate the Strawberry Reservoir. Most of this has been, they built a pipeline down Spanish Fork Canyon, and then it goes north. And so that pipeline's done. They're in the process of coming south. You saw Payson was torn up a few years ago. They're finishing toward Santaquin right now and through Salem. And so the Utah Lake system, that's what that's called, it's come south. And that's nearing completion. Highline Canal is working with Central Utah Water to pipe the Highline Canal. That's probably going to be the next project that the Central Utah Water does. When that gets piped, that will be a Bonneville unit facility. And so everything's turned into a Bonneville unit except the 3 miles that Strawberry Water still operates. So they've been looking at that, saying it's probably best to convert the water. This is just some things here about that I said that we've been using water dedication agreements. The Bureau, the head of the Bureau of Reclamation in our valley has indicated that on September 18th, there'll be no more water dedication agreements approved. And so we've been working with these different agreements to get those ready for that time next month. It's coming up pretty quick. There's been a small group of representatives, and I just listed them here. I've been involved with it: Spanish Fork City, Springville, Mapleton, Strawberry Water Users, the Highline Canal, and the Bureau of Reclamation. We've been meeting for almost 9 months, going over these conversion agreements and trying to get them to a place that it could be a smooth transition. This conversion contract, I'll just stop sharing for a minute and show you. And it's pretty lengthy, but here's the proposed agreement that on the 18th, they're going to have a signing party. They want representatives from all entities, river companies, to come and sign that. It'll be a kind of a monumental event to have this taken place for conversion. But this agreement has been vetted. We can place this on the agenda at the next meeting. We can have some discussion on that, but I just kind of wanted to show you, it's a quite detailed agreement, but it does allow water to not be tied to land. It has to stay within the Strawberry Valley area. So it can't be moved to Salt Lake or California. It has to stay in South Utah Valley, but you don't have the constraints that it's tied to a piece of property. And that's what the conversion will do. Just because the conversion agreement signed doesn't mean it automatically that farmers have to stop. It's still attached to the ground until somebody signs a third-party agreement that starts this process going. So this conversion contract allows it to happen, but it doesn't have to happen until somebody's ready to sell and do something else with their water. So the other thing I wanted to show you, and I'll email these out to everybody, but they're asking for a resolution, and it's not for today. This is more of a work session, but there is a resolution that basically that you'll be able to review and comment and have some discussion on, but it authorizes the mayor to sign this 1920 contract on the 18th, and it also sets up a process wherein if certain conditions are met, somebody comes in and they want to they sell their land for development, that you have to follow certain processes to get a third-party agreement, and you have to make sure that the canal company's kept whole, the Strawberry Water Users fees are paid, and everything. Once all those things are in place, this resolution basically says that the council, as long as those certain things are met, that you would authorize the mayor or manager or public works. Usually I would suggest the mayor, that he could sign those without having to bring every agreement back to the council, as long as they meet the criteria. And we've kind of done that with water dedication agreements. We don't bring those back to you if they meet all the criteria. We sign it. Highline Canal has to approve it. Strawberry Water Users has to approve it, and the Bureau of Reclamation has to approve it. It's a little bit cumbersome, but that's the way we've been doing it the last many years. So this would be the same kind of process for this converted water for development. That if it meets the criteria that you guys are comfortable enough that the mayor can sign that, and then it has to go through the other entities and make sure they're okay with it before it moves on. But every agreement doesn't have to come back to the council. So This is a draft. Like I say, we'll probably put this on the next agenda, the first meeting in September. We could postpone it till the second meeting in September on the 17th. But on the 18th is when we hopefully have some approval from the council to be able to enter into this conversion contract and start this process going. So
I have a quick question. So you're saying that the water rights currently right now are required to stay with the property, and transferring them is a difficult task. We can still sell water and transfer it from property to property, right?
Strawberry Valley Project water now is attached to the land. And so if land is being sold for development, that water still stays on the land. So the developer would enter into this water dedication agreement with the city. So it basically stays on the land, but it's transferred over to the city.
Rights and puts those rights to the
The
city.
city has the obligation to pay the assessments. They have the right to vote the shares because it will turn into
Non-ag water.
yeah, it'll turn into a subdivision. And so that water stays there. This conversion will allow that to be moved if there's more water available here and there's more water than you need for the subdivision, it could be moved to other lands within the Strawberry Valley project.
So
Still owns that water, but they just moved the water.
Yeah, they would still own it unless they sold it.
well, I think my concern is a little bit more long-term view of this. To me, it appears that if we do this, all of a sudden some tech giant wants to put in a great AI system and they need billions of gallons of water. All of a sudden the value of the water is going to shoot through the roof and they can pull it from anywhere inside this valley. Is it going to inflate the price of water to the point where one or two entities is going to be able to control it all?
I think that reality already exists though.
It does to some degree, but it's kind of tied to land right now. And so it's a little bit harder to say, well, Lehigh needs the water more than Payson does. So we're going to dry Payson up and away it goes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Just remember though that the Strawberry Valley project is a defined area from like Springville.
So you can only move rights within
So you can't
that.
move it up to Lehigh.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that the north line, the CUVP one went all the way to Lehigh up in.
Yeah, that's different water. That's the CUP project. This is the Strawberry Valley project that's been here since the early 1900s.
So this would allow us to, it would stay.
It doesn't stay on the land.
But it has to stay within the
area.
Strawberry
So,
water.
Yeah, technically.
Okay. Well,
there
see,
could
I'm
be
looking
some
at this
property.
as, you said not Salt Lake, but I was worried about Utah County. So Springville South.
Yeah, like if somebody in Payson wanted to sell it to somebody in Springville, Mapleton.
I would love to see more
technically they
leasing
could do
going
that.
on.
So I think you're right in the sense that it will make it more marketable and it will probably make it more valuable in this area, but it can't be moved out of the Strawberry.
And that's part of the resolution. It has to stay within the defined area.
right.
Yeah. And water's absolutely going to become more valuable.
And the NEPA project, you have to go through a NEPA process before you can do any of this, and they did that, and it was a defined area.
Okay.
If that ever wanted to change, they'd have to go through that federal process again, and go through the whole thing and get all the agreement with all the parties.
And if that did happen and they moved that water and
It
it
still
still wanted to
concerns me a
develop
little
that
bit.
ground that didn't have any water, they'd have to find the water to bring it to there.
Right.
It is. And I would love to see maybe more of a lease option. If it came from Payson City land, it's not necessarily sold, it's leased. Even if it's a 100-year lease. That gives future generations the option to say, hey, you know what? We don't think tech is as important as taking a bath. We want that water back. But that's my philosophy that
I think there is some leasing of water in certain circumstances, but if it's hard to lease some water.
That would be
and build a subdivision and then say, oh, I'm going to take the water back.
Yeah.
So I don't think a city would ever accept
that's
water.
that's why I'm using industry
Right.
as something else. And I know that some of those data centers in Lehigh, and there's one coming to Delta, you know, which kind of has me a little bit,
Use
you
a
know,
lot of water.
They use a lot of water, but I can see that. I mean, that's a good idea. Let's go put us a tech center right next to a power plant that needs really hot water. Let's heat the water up, dump it in there, and make steam powered electricity. I'm all for that. I'm not going to argue that point. That seems like a good idea. Let's double use the process. But I just worry that we might dry ourselves up if we give it away. But at the same time, I know that we have so much water coming this way with the CUP project that if we had to pay for it all, we'd have to learn to live on just water. We wouldn't have houses or anything else. This is water world all over
Expensive
again.
water. And I think water's going to get more expensive as we live in a dry state. Anyway, there's no decision to be made, but I wanted to kind of have the dialogue because there is a, the next meeting we are going to ask you to adopt some things to be part of this conversion process.
And what does this do with water shares? Anything, or just from regards to water rights?
Well, it's like the Strawberry Valley project. They have shares. Strawberry water users have shares. Highline has shares, so it's a share. But I always refer to it as water rights because the federal government owns all the water rights of the Strawberry Valley project, but we are the beneficial users of that through the canal companies. And technically, if you really go back to it, the state of Utah owns all the water through the state engineer's office. But we do have rights as beneficial users of that water. So,
And the big elephant in the room is the Bureau of Land Management too in this conversation as well, right?
the Bureau of Reclamation.
Reclamation.
Yep. And they're the ones that have taken the hard line that we
Yep.
we can't keep doing what we're doing. And I've argued that a lot with them because I said we've been an original signer of the Strawberry Valley project, and how can you say it's been illegal all that time?
No kidding.
We've used it for over 100 years. But he just smiled and said, "I know, Dave, you have a different opinion, but our attorneys say something different."
Signers to back you will follow what you say.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's inevitable. It needs to happen. There's just so much growth happening in the state of Utah, and water is a need.
I think we get the best deal we possibly can and live on it.
I think we should give breaks to people with large lots rather than charge them more for the water. Keep some of this more agricultural based.
Yeah, I hope agriculture stays as long as it can.
You brought up that picture of my neighborhood, and you could see I was the only green guy with my lawn. Every piece of grass I own was green all the way through the middle of the block.
Anyway, I'll email out all these documents so you can have a heads up and start studying it a little more. But and we'll have it on the next agenda for more discussion.
And just to clarify, this is only triggered when the landowner wants to change the nature of the land and develop it.
Right.
Correct.
Right. As long as people want to farm, it still stays where it's at. It doesn't go off the land until that landowner wants to say, okay, I'm done and we're going to move forward.
Okay, very good.
And then it could potentially stay there if they want to sell it to
And I can have I think next meeting we'll have Chris Thompson. He's with Hanson Alucy. He was Spanish Fork City's public works director, but he's kind of helped with this. He's created a spreadsheet like these are all the things that have to happen before that water could be used for development. So I'll have him come. He couldn't be here tonight, but I'll have him come and kind of explain that. We can have more discussion. And if you're not comfortable after the next meeting, we could table it till the 17th, but that would be the last time because we'd have to, unless we don't want to sign, and we could do that.
I think we would be not well advised to do that.
We didn't sign it.
Anyway, thank you for your time. If you don't have any other questions.
No, thanks, Dave. Thanks for all your work on this. And strawberry water is so important to this area.
Yeah, it's been a great blessing.
Yes.
I did fail to make mention of one thing when it was my turn to talk. Can I say one more little thing before I make a motion on G?
Go ahead.
We had a really good meeting with our attorney yesterday with regards to oh wait, we have one more?
No, we got one more.
No, I don't want another one, Robert. You're out.
Okay.
Never mind. I am the only thing between you and going home.
This shouldn't take very long.
We're gonna go quick.
Yep. Go ahead, Robert. Do you want to wait or do you?
No, you finish your thought.
He thought we were done.
So we'll wait for your comments. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah. That's
Okay.
That's why I said to G. I didn't realize it was F too.
Okay. So Mayor and Council, thank you. A couple weeks ago, I came before you and we were talking about betterments for the interchange and for
the Nebo Beltway, and we are here for your help tonight. We need to further have a little bit of discussion, and there's some goals for this discussion specifically. We need to give some direction to UDOT and to Horrocks. This is a shout out to Ryan. Thank you for letting me use your PowerPoint. And I embellished it just a little bit so we can move on with that. We need to choose some design elements that are impactful, manageable, get us the best bang for our buck. And really what we need to do is give the design team like an up to number of money that they can design to. We don't want to design a Taj Mahal on a trailer court budget. So we really need to provide them with some information and some direction on what you're comfortable with investing into this project. So, and Kathy's back there saying it's nothing. So, let me just go over a few things that are in this that we need to talk about. So, the bridge girder, and when we say the girder, it's this thing right down here. This is all of these options are baseline. Really, we just need to ask what color you'd like it to be and make sure that UDOT is okay with that color. So pink, I think, is out. But if
get out of my head, I'm over here popping. Couldn't say I was. Can we do hot pink?
See, I just did it for you. So black or like a dark green or something like that.
I'm a fan of dark green for Payson, but that's my thing.
What color are our street lamps on Main Street?
Black.
Black. We're gonna get.
I like the dark green idea, but I also
dark green and black go great together.
Yes.
I
So
vote
hold
black.
that thought about the black, because we have some black elements that might also come into play. So dark green for the moment. Anybody opposed to that?
What?
Dark green?
No.
I like dark green.
Okay.
I think it's very bright.
There's no additional cost for that, so congratulations.
Start with those options.
The bridge parapet. These options are all just the baseline cost. This is what UDOT will be paying for. So they're, yeah, so just different types of things. Basically how it looks on the facade: chisel limestone or brush hammer, heavy sand blasted. I don't particularly have a preference on this, and we can work with the design team on this one. We just wanted to give you this information to say there's no additional cost for this one either.
I guess for me, just make sure that we're picking the product that would last the longest.
Yes.
That's
and look the best for the longest amount of time.
exactly.
That's where I was headed with my thought process here. Is this something that's accessible to graffiti? Is it something that we're gonna have to clean back off? Because if it is, maybe sandblasted is the best option. Just sandblast it back up. But I mean, if it's something that is really hard to get to, that doesn't mean they won't get there. But you understand what I'm saying.
So this is the area right here. The parapet is right.
And it doesn't have like a ledge.
There's no walkway.
Well, I mean, a walkway.
We do not want people out here.
Okay.
Well,
like we have other issues if people are out here.
Right,
If
but
if you're worried about graffiti, there's stuff you can put on these light poles or different things that will make it easier to clean.
yeah. No, and I just when you look at it, it's kind of hard to see. I mean, if that's a 4-inch ledge right there and it's only 4 feet tall, yeah, I mean that's pretty accessible for a kid to climb out there and run across there and do it. But I'm getting Chief Bishop over there saying I don't think that's a possibility.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's something to consider. So we'll look for durability and longevity as we make some of these decisions, if that's okay.
We just hope that never happens. I really hate
To
that we
be
have to have this
honest,
conversation.
if you can tell the difference between either one of these as you're driving by at 82 miles an hour, my best of luck to you. This is one thing that we wanted to
Isn't
talk
this the
about.
one where the Nebo Parkway Beltway goes under the freeway though? Or does it go over the freeway?
It goes over.
Oh, okay. And we can't put our name on there, or can we?
Well, we hold that thought. So the fencing along the parapet is something that we do have an option for. So the base of what UDOT will pay for is galvanized chain link. We would, as staff, recommend that we either vinyl or powder coat this chain link for longevity's sake, for appearance. It doesn't tend to rust as much. And the cost for that is $30,000 per bridge structure. And Ryan's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 2 bridge structures, so we would be multiplying by 2, correct? Okay. So this would be a $60,000 betterment for that vinyl coating. These are all estimates, just given best industry knowledge and things like that. This is what staff would encourage us to do. Another option is a decorative fence. You've seen those before on different projects. The estimate for this is $210,000 per structure, so $420,000 just in decorative fencing.
Okay, can I ask what?
Quite a difference.
That's
That is a big difference. But I want to ask a question of these gentlemen doing the design. So now this is 2 structures. Is both structures in the first phase?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was wondering if it was you put a 2-lane one over the top, and then in the next phase you put the other 2-lane over so that you double your traffic flow kind of thing. So are they being built to handle 2 or 3 lanes? Are they just a single lane? What are we looking at? Right. Okay. So it'll be wide enough they can widen I-15 underneath it, as well as Nebo Beltway over the top of it. So will it be the full 5-lane width over the top of it when it's done? So it's going to look like a whole lot of overpass up there, and everybody's going to go to 8 South and say, this is the stupidest overpass in the world. Just so you're aware.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid that.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No,
well, we
it's
don't
not
want,
going
we're
to
trying to avoid an 8
So
South
that-
scenario, but
The right of way that you saw earlier is very similar to what the bridge will be.
oh, including the walking paths and
Yes.
okay. That's a nice big overpass.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am the king of plan ahead. I hate to dig something up to fix it 2 days later.
So
Agreed.
I'm going to show you this picture first, because we're going to be talking about intersections in just a moment. So planned along the Beltway are 6 lighted intersections. Let me caveat that. So at the freeway, 1 in between the interchange and Arrowhead, and then Arrowhead will be lighted, and then 2 additional ones in between Arrowhead and Highway 198.
So will the initial build include the plumbing and stuff for that to put those in, or will it actually include these light fixtures now?
The project is planning on putting signals at the Arrowhead Trail intersection
Which would make sense.
and then upgrading and doing what's necessary for the signal over at SR 198
Correct.
or State Street. The other signals will not be installed with the project. We're still looking at if it makes sense to put conduits in for future use, things like that. But we're currently not planning on signalizing those other intersections now.
Okay.
So given that information, what we can expect though is we would encourage these signalized poles to be powder coated. That's a standard that we have in the city already at a cost of $10,000 per intersection. I did it at 6, just anticipating future. But if we're only doing 3 right now, then it would be 30,000.
So they'll do I-15, Arrowhead Trail, and SR 198. And then the other 3 very well could be paid for by a developer, or would that always fall back on us regardless?
Yeah. The city has paid for that.
Okay.
Did we ever decide anything on the fence?
No. Can
Uh,
feedback.
I guess for me, I'm on the fence about this. I had to say that. No, really, for me, I think the powder coating chain link is more than adequate. I don't think the super expensive decorative fence is needed, but just the raw chain link is uglier.
Yep, well, and it rusts too.
And rust, yep.
Yep.
So we're
This is a chance for us to design an entrance to our city that's gonna be, we don't need the Taj Mahal, but we need something that
Yeah.
is reflective of what we want.
Something that lasts.
And I honestly look at, I mean, galvanized is horrible. I raise exotic birds, and the first thing you do is you paint the wire black because then you can't see it. So it's the same thing here. We want to paint it black so it's not noticeable. But I also look at it that even if we got 15 or 20 years out of it and then everything around there developed and it was a really nice business area, really had a change of feel, a lot of foot traffic, I don't know that it would be a bad idea at that time to say, hey, you know what, let's beautify this overpass. Can we take it back off at that time and pay 100% out of our pockets and change that? Or is that something that UDOT says, no, you can't touch our fences once they're up?
How's that for out of the box?
I wouldn't say that it's impossible, but you're going to be going through the UDOT structures approval process, which it's going to probably cost more money at that time because you're going to have a design consultant that's on UDOT's approved list. They're going to have to do a traffic analysis of it because all that fence has to be crash rated. So, and there's probably at that point in time going to be additional agreements about the maintenance of that fence where you're coming in retroactively and adding it to a structure. So I don't
We
think it's
want to leave it,
impossible.
is what you're saying.
If it were me, I would not go that route.
Yeah. Well, that goes back, we've got one chance to make it, do it right and do it right
Yeah,
way.
it does.
Yep.
But I've seen that, like, excavators have been doing a lot of remodeling of things lately, so.
Yeah, yeah, but we gotta deal with UDOT.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
So the next part are sign poles. Baseline treatment is just a galvanized pole. We have no idea how many sign poles are going to be necessary at this point. Ryan might have a number, but I do not have a number. But the baseline understanding though is that for everyone, if we wanted to powder coat these, it would be $200, and then we just determine whatever that number is at a later date. Parapet lettering. So this is where we get into a little bit of dynamics with UDOT rules and with what Payson wants. So our understanding is that you could put the name of the street on the structure with UDOT's approval. You could not put Payson City's name on the girder, the parapet there. To do this, it would be an extra $40,000, and it would be on both sides. That's right, Ryan?
So 80?
No, 40,000 for the entire thing. So if whatever name it eventually becomes, would be there if we were willing to pay for that. So,
I guess for me on that, I just want to chime in and give my 2 cents. I don't think that's necessary. I'd rather put that money towards having a nice sign on the off ramp, telling them what city they're coming into myself, and then the letters, depending what they're made out of, the weather different stuff will get caught on them, they'll rust. And so for me, I just think leaving that clean and slick with no name.
Okay.
Especially since it's not even Payson, we can't put up there. It'd be whatever the road name
Right,
is, the
whatever
Robert
that
Mills
name is.
Parkway, the Dave Tuckett Boulevard, whatever it would be. So
I think
right.
you're right.
Yep. That's really helpful. Another option is a city logo panel. We've talked about this before. Probably one of the best examples. Oh, excuse me. One of the best examples is an American Fork, where they've integrated their logo into the actual structure itself. If we were to choose this option, it's $30,000 per panel.
what's that made out of?
And I would defer to you the same. way.
So do they
Put it where it
antique
really
this
is.
gold
Yep.
plate, or is it like shiny gold?
I don't know, but if we could discover that later and check some. Again, these are estimates.
Yeah.
Costs more
I,
than it did to me.
I would agree with the previous statement of put it somewhere that it makes more difference.
So this
Like
is one
this.
that I think that we would, as staff, we would suggest as an option.
That's
Uh,
$60,000.
Yeah, this is a $60,000 option.
In that area after the fact.
But you'd up properties, so.
We would have to get approval from UDOT.
I don't think they like us doing stuff on their property.
It can be problematic. So that's why we want to talk about it now. What we really need from you, though, is this the direction that you would like to go and see?
This is
Here-
what I like.
It is $60,000, and it's teeny.
I don't know if that's to
Here-
scale.
Here is the issue that I have with this. Now, right now, this feels like Nebo Beltway is the entrance into Payson. But what happens at 18,000 South or whatever in Benjamin when Payson City actually comes out and touches that one corner? Does that become the front corner of Payson, or is that just you were in town and here you go? I mean, that's a legitimate question. Is this where we're going to want to put our blazing emblem that says Payson City is here, Salem is over there, welcome to where we are? Or do we want to make it look like when you hit the Nebo Beltway, you have entered the realm of Payson, and the last mile and a half you drove through was just
Well, I think
fluff.
that the future development will dictate how fast that comes, and that could be, decades down the road. And so
Could
in the
be.
meantime,
Well, I know they've come to us and asked.
So
That property has been brought to public meetings.
let me just put that into a little bit of context. So at the 8,000 off ramp, you would be exiting the freeway in Spanish Fork City. So you wouldn't actually have Payson City until you're across the street.
No,
right?
you would be leaving Payson. You would have to turn around and come back. So I get what you're saying there. So on
Turn
the,
around and come back.
if you're headed north, well, no, as you come down off the off ramp.
If you are headed south on
Right.
I-15 and you exit at 8,000
I
south,
get where you're
you are
saying
in
now. I
Spanish
turned
Fork
myself
City.
around and did the hokey pokey.
Okay.
So you're talking south. Yeah, but as you come down to the bottom of that stoplight, when you're sitting at that stoplight, if you look across the street, that
Then
is
you are
Payson.
looking at Payson
You are
City.
looking at
That-
Payson
that is
City.
that would be Payson City property.
Yes.
More
Limits,
than likely.
yes.
And so,
So-
that would allow us to be flexible with what kind of
I don't
sign
think
we
that
do
there's
in that area.
anything, I mean, we could probably put up another sign. We'll also be working on a billboard in between these
Right.
two exits, right? This one is a little interesting because you are completely within Payson City proper, and you are really creating this new kind of gateway to the city at this point.
So
I
my
think to your
question
point-
is for $60,000, do we want to put this at the first exit in Payson, or do we want to put it here where it feels like you're more in Payson? And then would we put another one from the northbound on 8th South? Because I don't think we need one on each side of this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think that this is what we really want to do is a replicatable design that could be put in multiple locations.
Can we do it cheaper?
But we can't do it
Again,
on
these
their
are
property.
just estimates.
Those are really high estimates. I could buy a really nice car for that amount of money.
You can park your car there.
Yeah.
We tried that at the golf course. It didn't work
UDOT
out
doesn't
very
like
well.
that either.
What?
Parking a car in the median.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just consideration.
I'm in favor of it. I think this is probably the best place for this coming southbound. I wouldn't put $60,000 into one on the south side of this highway.
Okay.
That's my thought. That's why I'm fighting this argument the way I am.
But
Is
there's
I
not a
think the
ramp.
north side of Nebo Beltway needs this $60,000 and one south of 8th South needs one for $60,000. That's my fight. And you will be a little bit into Payson before then, but those are really, that's the center old hub of Payson.
Okay.
Gold, we talked about it.
Bricks, cement, stone, lights,
tears.
sweat and tears.
If I can chime in, the cost on this is definitely conservative.
Yes.
Not knowing exactly where you want to go with it. We've seen these that are lit at night. We've seen them that aren't lit, depending on the size of it, the materials. Yeah, and it does include, I mean, there's a design component of these signs too. So that's something that's built into this cost, is the cost to design it as part of the project. That's a cost you're not going to see in the future if you were to put the same one in on your own
'Cause we
dime
have
at a
the
different
specs.
location.
Right.
I don't know. I knowing that this is a high end and it's a CYA bid, I'm fine with it. I think that there are a lot of places this would look good. I mean, as you enter Payson at the other end of the Nebo Beltway on 198, one of these would look really nice.
Yeah.
This would look great where I had somebody promise to put one in on Arrowhead Trail for me.
Yep.
Okay, same process there. Just around the outskirts, we used to have an old wagon wheel, and I thought that was cute and fun. It's hard to find old wagon wheels. Nobody uses them anymore. But, you know, I mean, whatever our design is becomes ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to replicate that.
And we could put it everywhere. And we could use that design. You release the design to us and we can go out and get it subcontracted and put it on our own property, right?
And this really hasn't been designed yet. This is just an example of the
Yeah, this is just an
possibility.
example
Random
that they put
Yeah.
in there. Obviously, there's no dimensions on here. There's
Yep.
no scale.
So
anything
it
like
could
this.
look different.
It's just at this point, do you want to sign here?
Yeah.
I do. And I look at two examples that I like is Spanish Fork and then also Layton City
Oh,
has
yeah.
a nice one too.
Those are
That
really
I think.
So this just is a placemat, basically, is what it is.
okay. So this next part is really, really important. So the other thing that we talked about last time was landscaping betterments and identified areas that could be landscaped. So the baseline treatment that UDOT would provide is a seed mix that would go in. This is an enhanced application of that would include some trees and shrubs and things like this. In the area shown, the anticipated budget for that would be $100,000.
Don't we live in a desert?
Well, these would be
Hold that
drought resistance things.
Another option would be to incorporate some xeriscaping in that area. So the area that's kind of in green would be the seed mix, and then you'd have some rock or mulch materials with no vegetation in this one, just extra boulders and stones placed in different ways.
Down there in Vegas. I mean, they look really nice and just different colored rocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't have to water them and they don't have to worry about pulling weeds and stuff. I mean, it's just.
Well, the way they don't have to worry about pulling weeds is because they don't have the problem we do. And our
We would
spring,
still have weeds.
that gravel, that rock, it always fills in. And I know everybody says, well, we're in a desert, do xeriscape, but I think drought tolerant native plants are a way better option than putting gravel in there, because gravel is a lot of work to maintain.
This also makes it hotter.
Yes, it
too,
makes it
and-
hotter.
yeah. I guess my first question before we decide something like this, who's in charge of spraying the weeds, maintaining the grass?
We are in charge of maintenance.
Okay, so see that
That's
changes my
why
thoughts a
that's
lot.
why the word that I used at the first of manageable is really, really important.
Yeah.
Let me show you one more option, and then we're gonna have a little bit more discussion on this. This is more similar to some imagery that we had talked about earlier, where it's a mix of vegetation and trees and deciduous and coniferous. In with that ground material and the weed mix. Did I call it that? Oops. And this is what would be about $250,000 for something like this.
Look at, like, if you look up there, like you do at the park. To me, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, you want to make it look nice, but you want to do it as cheap as possible, because it's not like you can just go sit there and watch the traffic.
Right.
Some cop will come and arrest you.
Well, I think in support of what Council Hyatt's saying, also too, we have to consider we don't want this to be too much of an inviting area for people to hang around and hang out, homeless people or other people that might set up base camp here. And so I think we do a mix of lots of rock and hydro seed, and then a few plants that really wouldn't require any maintenance or water. But yeah, this looks kind of full and expensive to me right now. But I want it to look nice, but I don't want it to be a hangout spot either.
Can I interject really quickly as well? I think the other thing to consider is to be strategic in your placement of these types of materials. Right here, we've been, it's shown as doing all of the gore areas, both on and off. But one thing that we talk about often is the Main Street exit in Spanish Fork. And this one comes up a lot in our conversations and how it's done. And I wanted to bring this up because I believe that Spanish Fork has been very strategic in the way that they approach their interchange. They have done a really good job of incorporating a mix of really nice materials as you are exiting the freeway to Main Street. And they've incorporated it along here. They have some landscaping here and a little bit across the street there. But the vast majority of their intersection, of their interchange, is just the very traditional native plant that you see, the seed mix, really. I think this is strategic because you are entering their city here. This one, you're leaving. And I think that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Of if you have a limited budget, and which we do, how do you make those dollars go the farthest in helping people know that you have entered your city, how you expect them to respond as they're coming in, and do we expect the same reaction leaving or in the other interactions? If the budget was unlimited and things like that, then absolutely, like, we wouldn't be having this discussion, right? It would be easy to spend all of this money. But in my professional opinion, we think about the dollars that we have in the best way possible. And so I bring this up as a way to say, maybe we don't do all of this, but maybe we add a little bit more focus on this section of it.
Coming into the city.
And make that pop as best as possible. And then utilize the fact that over the long term, as you travel up and down the I-15 corridor, you can see lots of examples where they have put lots of money into an interchange, into the design and the aesthetics of that. And over time, it's been very difficult for that community to keep up the level of maintenance that would be required to make it look brand new, right? And so I think that it's important to think about that. We have a limited amount of staff. We are constantly wanting them to be in many different places, and this is just one more strain on that. So how do we utilize that in the best way possible? So
I think something we need to remember that's super important here is this on-ramp, off-ramp, interchange, braided road is almost a half a mile long. And we are looking at 300 feet of it.
just a portion.
Just a portion, a very small portion. In fact, the top left corner isn't even going to be installed right now. So
right up here,
we don't want to make a decision that's going to financially burden the city for a long time. But at the same time, I don't want to do something that's going to look like 8 South 10 years down the road. We argue this all the time. We need to beautify it. We need something. So let's find a balance.
Make the entrance look real good and the exit look okay.
Yep, and simplicity of long-term maintenance is king.
So let's talk about cost. I just put together a quick estimate based on what I saw of things that maybe we could think about and look and get behind. Vinyl coating the chain link, powder coating the sign poles, powder coating the signal poles. This was if we don't need the street name, then that could be taken off.
Yeah, we don't need that.
But an entry sign in the Gore area. I honestly, the landscaping is going to be an interesting mix. That's really where we need your direction to say, what is it that you want to see in there? If you're putting plants in there, it's going to need an irrigation system and stuff like that. And that might be appropriate in that one part, right? Like, we want it to look great and we want it to be an entry piece that we can be proud of. Absolutely. And that becomes a little bit more manageable. But I don't think the whole thing is realistic. But I'm not the one that has to sign the check either.
I guess for me, I like a mix of xeriscape and a few shrubs and seed. That's what I like personally.
Okay.
Just to enhance it that little.
Yeah, enhance it on that. Yep, and enhance it is, when we're coming in, exiting the freeway.
We're a little city. We're not, I mean, yeah, we're gonna grow, but it's still, we have to watch our budgets.
Yep.
And we don't want all of the citizens getting mad at that either.
Yep. So here's the bottom line. I put up an estimate of $476,000.
Half it.
I need direction.
Considering what we're doing and how much land we're looking at, doesn't look that bad.
Ryan, what do you think about $250,000 for the things that we've talked about? Okay. Okay.
Give or take a little bit.
Okay.
May not go totally half, but cool.
What if we went 300?
Yeah.
280.
280. Do I hear 290? No, I think that is just fine. I mean, given that information, what we've seen up there, I put in some cushion for the signal poles that might not be needed right now. $60,000 for a sign. Better invite everybody from here to breakfast into our city. So
300 or below.
I mean, 280, I think is fine.
Yeah, I think 280 and below, we shoot for that.
People from Memphis would actually be coming up from the south, probably, right?
That gives our team a number that they can be realistic with and come back and say, this is what you're going to get for that amount of money. Rather than we were talking about at the beginning of this conversation of there's a big difference between 2 million and 280, right? So if they can design to $280,000, that puts us in a much better position to understand what it's going to be. Then you can make a calculated decision based on that to say, this is what we're going to get for that. Is that sufficient? Or do we need a little bit more? Whatever that is. So, Ryan, are you guys comfortable with that? Zach?
Yeah. And I keep in mind as well, we have not established that aesthetics budget amount, but that budget that UDOT sets aside, which is up to a certain percentage, that would cover these items. So say that aesthetics budget ends up being 100,000. If you guys put in 300 or 280, you'd really have 380 to work with. Or if you said, we want to spend up to 280 and we want the 100 to come out of that, then your responsibility is 180.
Right.
So, and that's something that we'll be establishing in the coming, I don't know, probably weeks or month,
Yeah.
with the aesthetics committee.
And we thought that this was over and above what they would be already providing. So I think that if we can get that next step of saying, okay, we have this budget, let's design this, we can dial in a little bit more to exactly what this would cover and what that area would be. I think that would be really helpful, and I think especially helpful to the city council to make that final decision.
That'd be nice, you know, 100,000.
I'm gonna go ahead. I said 476 seems like it's doable, but with what I've heard here, I think that if we went like the $250,000 to $300,000 range, where Payson's comfortable, we're willing to go this much. Show us what we can do with what UDOT gives us, what we're willing to put in, and we'll see if we need to dial it back or move it forward or something.
Gives
That's
you,
kind of where I'd like.
that gives you a goal you can work towards.
Yeah, we have a target, and that's really, really helpful. Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor and Council.
Okay, Brett,
Appreciate
did
that.
you want to say something before we go?
Yeah, I want to say, let's get out of here. I make a motion, we move.
Okay,
My lungs come out.
okay, so you've made a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I have.
Okay, is
Second.
there a second?
Yes, second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes.